Welcome back. Before we proceed further, I would like to all of you to just for a few minutes to see this slide, which tells you about our schedule, our program schedule, and I want all of you to make a note of the dates and the timing, please. Just see the slide. I'll read out for you. It's second, that's today, 3rd, 4th, 9, 10, 17, 23, 27, 28, 29, 30. I repeat, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 9th, 10th, 16th, 17th, 23rd, 27th, 28th, 29 and 30. Except for 29 and 30, except for 29th and 30th of April, which has been scheduled for classroom courses and evaluation, every day there will be 2 sessions. The first session will be from 1:45 to 2:45, and there will be a gap of 15 minutes, and then we will have a second session from 2:45 from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. As I said at the very beginning, there is a small error in that slide that I have shown you in terms of timing. So, I repeat, every day it is 1:45 to 2:45 and 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, with a 15 minutes gap in between the 2 sessions. Is that clear to all of you? Okay. And I hope by this time you have all made a note of the dates, and every day the sessions will be delivered through MANATV at the same time, and I request all of you to be ready with some kind of you should prepare yourself to take some notes, and of course, you will have the study materials uploaded, and I will probably start uploading the study materials. Those who are already registered, you will find some study materials already uploaded, some study materials or videos already uploaded, but study materials based on this particular session I will start uploading after I finish 2nd, 3rd and 4th. So, 4th evening onwards till 9th I will upload all study materials for whatever I cover on 2nd, 3rd and 4th, and that is how I am going to do. So, that after every 3 days you will get some time to study. And as I said, this is not an extended program. So, you need to look at the most important things. I will share my email ID at the end of it, I repeat, where some critical questions can be asked to me, and I will come back to you. Okay, so, we go back, let us go to the slide, and let us go back to the slides that we were discussing. We will quickly go back. Our last slide, which is very important. I am not expecting you to know everything about So, I was talking of before we went for the break, the various areas in logistics which are going to be extremely important in the days to come. I do not expect you to learn, you can of course you do that. This will not be taught or this will not be discussed at length in this 1 month course, but you should know what all those areas which are becoming very, very important, so that you can try and score well and be eligible for the extended courses that we are going to offer to successful candidates. So, let us see the slide. What are these areas? Blockchain. I think by this time you all know what blockchain is all about, what is Bitcoin is all about, digital currency, how it is helping to transact well without errors, artificial intelligence, self-driven cars, delivery of choice. What is delivery of choice? Now, When you buy an item online, you can choose the item that you want to buy, whether you are buying a shirt, you are buying a trouser, you are buying a watch, you are buying a mobile phone or a TV, etc., etc. So, you can select what you want to buy, that is your choice. In future, the delivery will also be of your choice, that you can select a particular delivery agent or a company yourself. That means the delivery will not be left on to, you may be confident about X company because you know he delivers well, there will be no damages, it will be delivered on time, you have good coordination, whatever it may be. So, delivery will also be of your choice. So, if you remember, when we started discussing about the various topics under supply chain, the first topic was customer. Today, customer is the king, the customer is most important. So, all the choices will be given to the customer in terms of product, in terms of delivery as well. Elastic logistics. Today, every supply chain organization, the problem today is that the life cycle of a product is becoming shorter and shorter, because the customer change is volatile, the customer's demand is changing. So, today a particular cell phone, a type, a brand, or whatever the features the cell phone has, tomorrow it become obsolete, and that applies to anything, even for a car as well, for a particular food item as well, for a particular perfume as well, for a particular TV model as well. So, it is changing. So, you see the supply chain has to adjust. Earlier what was happening, there was one single product, there were just few varieties of product, the varieties were very limited, the brands were limited. So, now the companies have to be elastic. What do you mean by elastic? They have to be flexible, they need to make their supply chain process flexible, production system flexible, distribution system flexible, transportation system flexible, supplier selection has to be done accordingly. Then comes perfect order deliveries. What do you mean by perfect order deliveries? A delivery does not only mean when it was delivered, it is not only the time which is relevant over here. Whether it was delivered on time, whether the deliveries of the right product was done, whether it was in an intact condition, whether packaging was correct, whether the quantity delivered was as per the contract or as per the order, whether the item carried the required documentation, does it have an invoice, does it have a commercial invoice, whether it was delivered to the right customer, whether the right price or the right invoice was made. So, all this put together makes a order delivery perfect. So, all the customers, all the companies, now how will this happen? All put together. So, if you see this entire supply chain process has to be foolproof, there cannot be any error, it has to be absolutely efficient, and supply chain companies are working on them. Lot of information management they are working, technology advancement is happening. Without that, such perfect order delivery will not happen. I will not tell you what drones are all about, that is the next topic. What are drones and smart glasses? You know how deliveries at very remote areas are being made by drones, who can do automatic route optimization. Okay? If a life-saving drug is to be delivered at a very remote location in the Himalayas or in Uttarakhand, DHL will simply go and use a drone to deliver, or whatever it may be. Today, drone technology is becoming very important, and it will become a very integral part of the supply chain process. The logistics manager will use drones, robots, etc., self-driven cars, sensors, etc. This will come into practice. Everything may not happen immediately, because it requires lot of training, because any mismanagement, any lack of knowledge may lead into some serious trouble. So, but over a period of time, these are the areas in supply chain management and logistics which will become very, very important. So, accordingly you should start thinking in terms of your career opportunities. The last topic over here is data driven logistics driving anticipatory logistics. Anticipation is very important. We have as a topic in the next 1 month supply chain uncertainty and supply chain risk as one of the topics. So, these are the topics which are becoming very, very relevant. That is the reason I have selected those topics which are very, very relevant for today's world, for the today's industry and for today's business. Since the product life cycle is very, very uncertain, the demand anticipation forecasting is becoming very, very difficult. Now, if you cannot forecast correctly, then the entire supply chain will suffer. So, you have to anticipate correctly. You should know the demand correctly. For that, what that needs to be done is not what we are going to discuss in detail. I just wanted to share with you within supply chain management which all sectors, which all subjects, which all concepts will become very, very important. So, I just repeat for all of you: blockchain, digital currency, artificial intelligence, delivery of choice. You can just go back to the slide again. I am deliberately spending some time on this. Elastic logistics, perfect order deliveries, drones and smart glasses, data driven logistics which is driving anticipatory logistics. When you say anticipatory logistics, you have to anticipate, you have to predict the kind of logistics infrastructure you need to have. You need to anticipate as to how you need to change or revise your supply chain process. That brings the end to our first topic, which was the introduction overview. Before I go to the next topic, which is logistics system and decisions, I want all of you to make a note of my mail ID. I will leave this slide for a while before I go to the next topic. dmudeb@yahoo.com. In any case, you can always see this video in the YouTube once it is uploaded by MANATV. So, you will have an option to see my mail ID correctly. As I said, I welcome as many questions, no problem, but I will only reply or address only those questions which are very relevant to this particular certificate course. So, now I go back to our second topic, which is logistics systems and decisions. Now, what is a logistics system? What makes the logistics sector? Let us go back to the slide. Now, the supply chain of a particular company is influenced by the strategies that are made by the promoters of the company. The vision and the mission or the strategies that the companies decide to which direction the company would go. What are the company goals? What are the company objectives? What would be the marketing plan? So, all these strategies, in order to fulfill that strategy, the company has to design its supply chain accordingly. Most of the management students today would know few of the strategies that I am going to discuss, but as I said, there is no harm. Earlier, all the strategies were supposed to be marketing strategies only or financial strategies only, but today supply chain management is considered to be the overall process how business is run as a whole. So, all the strategies, unless and until as a supply chain manager, I do not know what the strategy of my promoters are. How would I design my supply chain management? If I do not know whether the management is willing to outsource the entire services, how would I design my supply chain system? So, first of the strategy, if you look at the slide, and I repeat many of the management students, and we are not going to discuss this in too much of details, and it is the push or the pull strategy. For people, for students for whom these two terms, I am going to explain it in a very simple way. Now, when you push a product, that means you are pushing the company product to the customers, whether you have a demand or not. You are pushing, you are trying to the customers, you are pushing the product to the customers. By pull strategy, you are trying to create a demand for the product. There are companies who do not want to create too much of a stock. In the push strategy, the company is willing to create a lot of stock, a lot of inventory, doesn't matter. And they would like the customers to buy, they would like to create, and so because they do not want the customers to wait. By a pull strategy, I am going to advertise, the company likes to advertise, they promote their products, and once sufficient demand is created, then only the company manufactures the product. So, the basic difference, push, even when without a demand is created, I am trying to push my product to the customers. I am trying to create a lot of inventory, and then I convince the customer to buy them. In a pull strategy, I create a demand for my product through promotions or whatever, and then once I have the demand created, I manufacture and then I make the product. Go back to the slide. Consumers usually pull the goods or information they demand. So, when it is pull, the customers, by way of advertisement, the advertisements make the consumers pull the product towards them, whereas in push strategy, suppliers push it towards the customer. So, we have a few examples of push strategy. Through promotion, through discounts to retailers, packaging design, maintaining a reputation of reliability. We have an example of mobile phone sales, manufacturer offering discounts on phones to encourage buyers to choose their phones. Pull strategy, a new type of, maybe these are some examples. There are many such examples. There are various examples of push and pull strategy. There are new variety of brand of children toys, but I do not want to, the company do not want to produce those toys immediately. They would first like to advertise, promote in the media through TV, and then when the children ask for the product, they create a demand, maybe the retailers are asked for that particular product, and then the company produces. The next strategy that the company may have is what is called integration. Now, if you come back to the board, we have this particular company who is the manufacturer. Now, this company receives a particular component from B, and he has a dealer who promotes and sells the product to the final customers. Many of you know, when we say integration, the word integration means to combine. If you look at the slide for a while, that is what it says. It is the alignment and coordination within a supply chain. It refers to everything to produce a product, from raw materials to manufacturing to shipping and support services. Now, how does so there is a transport company. I will just add another element over here. There is a transporter, and then it is going to the customer or the distributor dealer. Now, in order to make that particular product, suppose he is making ice cream. Company A is manufacturing or producing a brand of ice cream. Now, B is a company who is supplying milk to him. Now, for a better result or for a better product or for a better control, just come back, this company B may be supplying ice cream to many others, X, Y, Z. In order to have a better control, company A may like to merge or may like to have a control on B by way of a merger, by way of a takeover, by making B a part of the group. This is what is called vertical integration, and this is called backward vertical integration. Same if there is a transport company who is delivering goods of A, there is a company who is distributing ice cream for A. Now, A may not get the required or the desired service level from this transporter, may not, because this transporter is also carrying goods for many other companies. So, if this company wants to have a control or he wants to acquire or take over this transporter, they will integrate, and this is called forward vertical integration. And this happens only with the units who are involved in this supply chain process, not anybody from outside, because he is actually producing the raw material to A and A is supplying to the customer. So, they are all part of the main supply chain. So, integration, vertical integration happens within this chain. Now, we also talk of horizontal integration. Now, what is horizontal integration? Now, A is producing ice cream, there is another company called B who is also producing ice cream. Now, suppose hypothetically, suppose there are 4 companies who are producing ice creams in the market, A, B, C and D. He is having 25%, he is having 25% market share, he is having 25% market share, he is having 25% market share. When does horizontal integration happen? It happens when those 2 companies merge who are in similar business. Nobody is a supplier or a distributor to one another. He may be Quality Walls, just hypothetically, he may be Quality Walls, he may be Vadilal or Amul. If both of them merge, what will happen? They become a single company, A and B, and how much market share they will have? They will have a 50% market share, which is more than C and more than D as well. So, if you see, this is also a strategy of a company. The company would decide whether to merge with B, take control on the transporter or take control on the raw material supplier. In this case, it is milk. Whether the company wants to first promote the product and then sell, or that they want to create a lot of stock, lot of inventory and then induce the customers to buy, which is a push and pull strategy. So, both integration as well as push and pull, that will help the company to design. So, all these strategies help the company to decide what kind of logistics and supply chain process that particular company would have. That is the reason why it is important for us to understand or at least discuss these 2 strategies of push and pull and integration system. Let us go back to the slide and we will have some examples of. So, there, as you see, there are 2 types of integration, vertical and horizontal. The vertical occurs through the merger or acquisition of companies at different stages of production or distribution. Just come back over here, at different stages of production, this is where the vertical integration happens. This is the stage of production B also may have a supplier D. So, this is a stage of production. B receives material from D, A receives from B, and they produce the final product. And distribution. There could be a distributor over here, there could be a retailer over here, there could be a wholesaler over here. Merger can happen everywhere. This is where the vertical integration happens. If it happens from A to B, it becomes backward. If it happens from A to this side towards the customer, it becomes forward integration. And what is horizontal integration? Let us go back to the slide and see. The process of a company increasing production of goods or services at the same part of the supply chain. Company do this by internal expansion, acquisition or merger. That means, when two companies producing the similar types of good, they merge primarily to increase the market share and to increase the volume of their production. It is called horizontal integration. Let us see the slides again. We have discussed what is forward and what is backward. Backward, when a company previously supplied raw materials to the firm, you can buy that particular company. In this case, we have discussed the ice cream company buying the company providing or supplying milk to him. Forward, vertical integration, which company takes control of business activities performed by its distributor or retail customers. That is the forward integration. Sometimes a company have a joint. He can apply both vertical integration, forward as well as backward. That means, he can exercise control. If a company exercise control on both his supplier as well as distributor, then he is executing joint vertical integration, both combined integration, combined vertical integration. That means, he has both vertical and backward as well as forward integration. Let us go back to the slide. This is what we said. What is backward? Just to give an example, what is a backward vertical integration? Amazon used to publish book. He was just a publisher. Now, as a publisher, he used to, there were many book suppliers who used to sell books that was published by Amazon. Now, I will go back. I am sorry. It was just the opposite, other way around. Not only a bookseller, but also a book publisher. So, as a bookseller, when Amazon became a publisher as well, so he was a bookseller. Let us come back to this drawing. Without drawing a different diagram, let us assume A as Amazon bookseller. He becomes a publisher as well. So, whatever is published by Amazon's own company is sold by Amazon only, because these both the parts, he takes over Amazon publisher and he can sell all the books published by Amazon. So, they exercise a backward vertical integration. In the next slide, we are going to see example of forward integration. There's a company, a news channel company called News Corporation, and they purchased DirecTV. DirecTV was a satellite TV company. By purchasing DirecTV, now News Corporation, who was only in business of distributing news, so now by purchasing DirecTV, enable News Corporation to use it as a medium to distribute more of its news, movies and television shows by managing the process itself. Okay. purchase of direct TV by News Corporation is a very good example of forward integration. So, here is News Corporation. Let us go back. If you consider this as News Corporation and if you use this as direct TV, so direct TV now uses News Corporation to distribute as a medium. He will use direct TV as a medium to distribute more of its own news and movies, because now direct TV cannot distribute any other company's news or movies or television shows. It is acquired by News Corporation. We will give you more example. There is a company in UAE, in Europe. It is a project management company, very interesting, which will give you a very good example what is horizontal integration. Now, this is the European company. This company is in the business of project management. This is Europe. This is Middle East. Now, this particular company has got many jobs in Middle East, several jobs. What would this company do? Will this company establish his own branch over here? Will it spend money on infrastructure? Will it send his own employees from Europe to Middle East? All these are very cost consuming. It will increase the expenditure of this company largely. So, what he will do is that he will take over a company who is also in the business of project management in Middle East. In the process, this company will become a part of this company, and the company in Europe A will buy B and use B's infrastructure, manpower and everything to manage its projects in Middle East. That is exactly what is mentioned in the slide. Let us go back to the slide. One company in Europe and other one in UAE. The first one is with only 125 employees, second one with 25,000 employees. The company from Europe is receiving a high number of projects from UAE, but in order to develop them, they need more financial and human resources. So, B has 25,000 employees, whereas A has only 125. So, it cannot manage all these projects with 125 employees. So, he will take over B. B has 25,000 employees. So, B becomes a part of A, and this becomes a horizontal integration. Both are in similar business. In reality, both are competitors, maybe in different countries, but still they are in similar business. Nobody is a supplier to one another or a distributor to one another. A similar business. Project management company, project management company. They merge, it is taken over, B is taken over by A, and entire infrastructure and manpower of B is used in UAE. So, in the process, A wins a lot of projects without spending any money at all. Yeah, of course, there is a cost to taking over. So, this is horizontal integration. So, next few slides will give you a diagrammatic expression or description of a push strategy and a pull strategy. If you see, when you see the push strategy, the manufacturer will push its product to the wholesaler or the retailers, and the retailers will push the product to the customers. In the pull strategy, the manufacturer creates a demand. He directly connects with the consumer. He does not sell to the customers. He directly connects to the end customers through promotion, thus creating a demand. The consumer extends this demand to the retailer, wholesaler and retailer, and the wholesaler and the retailer now extend this demand to the manufacturer. The manufacturer produces the item based on that demand. I think it's an excellent diagram. This explains everything about the push and the pull strategy. I would like to hold on to this particular slide for a while for you to get an exact. We are, as I said, and I will repeat, this certificate course is too short for us to understand everything in detail. As long as the concept is clear, we should be fine, because in future we will introduce many advanced courses to you. Let us go back to the slide once again. Logistics system. So, I said every company has their own logistics system. I started this discussion at the very beginning telling you about what is logistics, what is supply chain, what makes the logistics system. Every organization have their own logistics system, and there are three main activities of a logistics system. What are they? To process the order received from a customer. Once an order is received, they have to produce and create an inventory of the product, and then once the product is made or a product is manufactured or the product is created, they required warehousing, freight transportation to deliver to the customer. So, broadly, the three broad activities of the logistics system is order processing, inventory management, and freight transportation. We go to the next slide. So, what is a logistics system? Logistics system, let us come back to the board. At the very beginning, if you remember, I told you that each and every company has its own logistics system. What does the system comprise of? It comprises of different facilities. Different facilities. What do these facilities do? These facilities perform different roles. There can be a plant, there can be a facility which is used for assembly, a facility may be used for distribution, a facility may be used for packaging, a facility may be used for R&D, and all this belong to one single company. So, that company has this logistics system who are connected to each other. They do not work in isolation, they work with each other, they are connected. So, if you see the slide, so facility can perform as a manufacturing unit, as a packaging unit, as a sorting unit, as a storage or a distribution fulfillment center, maybe a selling unit or a consumption unit, and there are many companies. This is just to explain you, different companies have different set of facilities which perform different logistics functions, and all put together, all this put together, this makes logistics system of a company. This is the logistics system of a company. So, the logistics system of a company are, and as I said, it is not restricted to that, there can be other facilities as well, depending upon what the companies produce, what is the company's product, what is the company's services, depends. There can be a terminal, there can be a fabrication unit, different. So, they have different facilities spread all over the place, maybe within the country, outside the country, whatever it is, but that company's logistics system comprises of all these facilities. Each of them is called a facility, and all facilities put together makes the logistics system. Slide. So, you see different kinds of facilities, a manufacturing unit, a godown, a distribution center, a road trucking terminal, a warehousing, fabrication, transportation terminal, assembly section, packaging. So, different facilities. So, all this put together makes the logistics system of a particular organization. Next slide. As I said, function of a facility can be different. A particular facility can function as an assembly unit, a facility can function as a warehouse, maybe as a distribution center, as a transshipment center, transportation center, terminal, sorting, waste management. Today companies are having separate facilities to do waste management, which has become very, very important for organizations to maintain what is called a green supply chain, which is becoming very, very important. We do not have green supply chain as a course in this particular certificate course, in this particular program, but let me tell you, green supply chain has become very important, because if you see globally, because of the global warming, because of the pollution, air pollution, what happened in Delhi, you have seen, it is not, Delhi is not in isolation, it is a global phenomena today, and most of the pollutions are created by logistics system, emission of gases, carbon, carbon dioxide, etc., etc., etc. So, companies maintain a separate logistics system for waste management, a facility for waste management. So, what are the decisions a manager, logistics manager is supposed to take? A logistics manager handles, as I said, 10% of the company's costs. So, obviously, he should ensure all capital goods, all plants, all machineries, they are used in the optimum way. They should ensure cost reduction at every level. They should also ensure that while they are ensuring cost reduction, the service level has to improve, because customers, we cannot compromise with the customers. Cost versus the level of service decisions, sales versus service, the optimal service level. These are the basically the managerial issues. Logistics managers, the most important is cost and service. Now, mind you, this is very important for all logistics managers to understand. One is the key issue, managerial issue. As a manager, you are supposed to take decisions, important decisions. Now, for a logistics manager, suppose I am the logistics manager of a company and I have been told to reduce transportation cost. How do I reduce transportation cost? By reducing the number of fleet I have, by reducing the number of trips I am doing, right? Reducing the number of deliveries my vehicles are doing. All this will help me to cut down the costs. I will reduce the number of vehicles. If I reduce the trips, the petrol or the diesel prices will increase, but in the process I will be compromising on the services, which again the company cannot afford to do. If I do that, I will be out of the market, the customer will not accept me, the customer will not accept a delayed delivery. So, it is very essential for a logistics manager to balance between the logistics cost and the service level. There has to be a balance. How those are done will be a part of our extended course, or when you start working as logistics professional, you learn on your day to day functions and day to day work. Okay. We go back to the slide. So, logistics management is overall to control the inbound and the outbound logistics, which is not difficult to understand, though there are lot of things to learn about inbound and outbound logistics. So, as a manufacturer, inbound, anything that is arriving to that company, it can be raw materials, it can be components, whatever it may be. And how it is coming? Through transportation, through some logistics system. And when I say transportation, Make no mistake that I am not only talking of road transportation, it can be coming by sea, it can be coming by air or whatever it may be. And then outbound, there is a logistics system, outbound, again transportation to the customer. So, inbound and outbound, and it is the responsibility of the logistics manager to ensure that both the services are done in an optimum way at optimum cost without compromising on the services. Sometimes we ignore the importance. When we discuss inbound and outbound logistics in detail, you will understand how various organizations give importance only to outbound and not to inbound logistics, which is changing very, very fast. Because inbound logistics, sometimes this company has to pay for the freight and he has no control on this particular inbound. Now, if this is disturbed, if the inbound logistics does not happen properly, the outbound logistics, what happens? Very simple. You are producing a product, you are producing ice cream. If the supply of milk is not proper, if it does not happen, if the raw material does not arrive on time, if the quality of product is not good, then your final product will also be affected. So, all logistics managers, all organizations have realized this. So, today they give a lot of importance to inbound, and if the inbound logistic cost is very high, it has an effect on the product price. So, basically inbound and outbound logistics are one of the most important management area of logistics management. Let us go back. In the previous session, we did discuss what in the next 10 or 15 years, what are the sectors, what are the subjects which are going to be very important. This particular slide is actually telling you about the emerging trends in logistics. Globalization. There are more and more companies who are going global. When I say global, it does not necessarily mean that the companies are selling their products overseas. They are also importing raw materials or components from overseas. Then the other sectors which are becoming very, very important is e-commerce. I need not explain you what e-commerce is all about. There is a lot of information and technology. There is a lot of technology applied in logistics and supply chain. If green supply chain, I just discussed a few minutes back. This green supply chain management is an emerging trend. Data analytics. Today it is all about big data. How data are used to improve the supply chain process, forecasting process, delivery process, inventory management process, forecasting process, data, proper usage of data. So, logistics decisions, what are the decisions we have to take about? You have to take decisions about facility, how big they should be, materials, finished goods, where should I store, warehouse, should I buy a warehouse or should I lease a warehouse, where should I stock my spare parts, what should be my production plan, what should be the construction or the architecture of my warehouse, should it be stacked, should I create racks, how should I retrieve the goods, what should be my mode of transportation, should it be air, should it be by road or sea, should the vehicles, when I say vehicles, it is not our cars, our personal cars, we are talking of commercial vehicles. A lot of companies buy their own vehicles to have better control, but there are many companies today who are outsourcing and they are using vehicles of transport companies. How should I schedule my shipments? What should be the frequency? How should I route the vehicles to make sure that the transportation cost is minimum by ensuring the product reaches on time, etc. So, these are the various areas of logistics decisions. Now, there are basically, again I repeat, management students, you know basically that the stages, very clear 3 stages of decisions making. There are so many decisions taking in the logistics area. So, it starts with strategical, which is in the next slides will tell you what strategic decision is all about. Tactical strategic decisions are taken at a very senior level, at the promoters, at the directors level, at the chairpersons level, and it consists of where should the facilities be, what will the financial resources, where should I get my funding from, whether should I outsource a product, which country I should export, who I should collaborate with. Tactical are done by the domain experts and which leads to about 6 months. The period of decision making or management decisions is about 6 months to 1 year. Strategic decisions may go beyond a year, 2 years or 3 years, and operational decisions are on a day-to-day basis. We will quickly go through the slides and see the different. So, when I say strategic, it is long lasting, designing of the system, whether I should insource or outsource, where should I locate my facility, any facility, what should be my capacity of my production plant, what should be a warehouse, how big should my fleet size, what should be my financial resources, performance objectives, how should I look at my competition, whether I should integrate, whether I should follow a push strategy or a pull strategy, what should the mission of a company, etc., are strategic. Tactical decisions are midterm. As I said, it could be a monthly or quarterly, it may extend up to maybe a couple of months or so, and it involves the production and distribution planning and the resources I have, how optimally I should allocate my resources. When I say resources, whether it is human resources, whether it is my other resources which involves the entire logistics process, how I should allot, I should make optimum use of my resources. This slide tells you about operation decisions. I have deliberately skipped through a few slides which, because they are not relevant to our discussion today. Operation decisions are on a day-to-day basis. They are a very narrow scope, like order warehouse order picking process, shipment vehicle dispatching, and they are based on certain detailed data. We will discuss a little more about before we start the next topic tomorrow at 1:45. I will come back and do a bit of recap on whatever we have discussed today. Thank you very much. We end our session today. As you know, tomorrow we have 2 more sessions at 1:45 and 3 o'clock. I will see you then with new topic and new subject. Thank you very much. Enjoy your evening.